the attendance register, and at the end of the session, we would love you just to complete the feedback. And then, of course, now all these sessions are recorded. You can access that. You go just on the Western Cape site, and that is also where you will get your notes. And then some students has asked me to email the notes, and I have sent that. I think it could have been Thursday or Wednesday that I've sent the notes. But the notes that we are working on today, students, is the notes for lecture number 7, and that deals with bank reconciliations. We've got quite a few things to get through, so let us get down to that immediately. Okay, we are first going to go to our PowerPoint presentation that deals then with bank reconciliations. Right. In terms of a bank reconciliation,
Good morning, students. Sorry for the delay. Mr. Lesh is just having some technical difficulties that we're trying to sort out. Just give us 5 minutes, please.
Hi, can you hear me? Hello? Okay. Hi, students, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Can you see me?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay. Maybe it's a good thing. Okay. Ay, 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 ay. Right, students, I think I'm just going to continue without you guys seeing me. Maybe it's a good thing, so let us just get going. Can you just give me a thumbs up whether everything is okay and whether we can continue?
Wilfred, you can continue.
Right, but my camera is off, eh?
Yeah, that's fine. We can, if we share, we can see the presentations.
Okay, right, all good. Right, students, we take a look at the presentation, first of all, of your bank reconciliations. And we take a look at the bank reconciliations and first of all, the purpose. Now, the purpose of drawing up a bank reconciliation statement is always to ensure that the bank account, which is the balance in the books of the business, corresponds with the balance on the bank statement. So when we speak about bank reconciliations, it is actually a twofold process here. From the business point of view, we keep an accurate set of all our receipts and all our payments, which are recorded in the cash receipts journal and the cash payments journal and posted to the bank account in the ledger. So that will enable us to calculate what is the bank balance, but that is the bank balance from the business point of view. The bank, on the other hand, has also got an idea of what is our balance, because the bank is aware of all our receipts, because whenever the business is receiving money, we deposit it into the bank, the financial institution, and the bank is also aware of all our payments. So there's a balance from the business point of view, and there's also a balance from the bank, the financial institution's point of view. So the reconciliation process has got two phases. First, we must record the business, and the business must update the information that appears only on the bank statement. Because when you are doing bank reconciliations, you are going to compare what is in the business's records and what is only on the bank statement. So firstly, the records of the business must be updated with any information that appears only on the bank statement and not in the journals. And then we take a look at entries that is in our records that is not on the bank statement. And those entries will be recorded then in your bank reconciliation statement. Now, let us first of all speak about the bank balances. So when we talk about the bank balances now, we will say that we can have the bank balance according to the business and the bank balance according to the business. If we have got money in our bank, the bank account in the ledger will reflect a debit balance. So a debit balance in the bank account from the business point of view is regarded as an asset with a debit balance. However, if your bank account is overdrawn, unfavorable, your bank account in your ledger will have a credit balance. However, from the bank's perspective, and remember now the bank sends you a bank statement, if you have got money in the bank sees you as a creditor. They are owing you money. And that is why on the bank statement, a credit balance is reflected as favorable and a debit balance is as unfavorable. So let us take a look at the steps that we need to follow when we do bank reconciliations. So step number one, in your step number one, the question would want you to prepare a cash receipts journal, you prepare a cash payments journal, you prepare a bank account in the ledger and a bank reconciliation statement. Right. Now in your step number two, we start off and we take the information on the last day on the bank statement, and you record that now into your reconciliation statement. Remember now, the bank statement balance, a credit balance is indicated as favorable and a debit balance is unfavorable, because this is coming from the bank. The bank is sending us this bank statement. In step number 3, we are now going to compare the cash receipts journal with the credit side of the bank statement. We are now looking for items that appear in our records, okay, which is not on the bank statement as yet, and items that appear on the bank statement that is not in the cash receipts journal. Now, if you come across any amounts in the cash receipts journal that is not yet on the bank statement, it is in our records, not on the bank's records, you record this then now in your bank reconciliation statement. And in your bank reconciliation statement, you are going to write there credit outstanding deposit, and you will record the amount then on the credit side. Still busy with step number 3. If you come across any amounts that appears on the bank statement that is not yet in the cash receipts journal, we must now update our cash receipts journal with those amounts. So it will include items such as direct deposits for rent or payments from our trade receivables. Because as far as rent is concerned, and sometimes we will get from our customers that don't come to the business to pay their accounts, we have supplied them with our banking details, and they will deposit the money directly into the bank account, into the business's banking account. Also, you can get examples such as interest on fixed deposits or interest on the current account, right? If we have got a positive balance in our bank, and it is possible that the bank is now going to pay us interest, the bank is not going to come to the business to pay the interest. What the bank will do is they will increase our balance immediately and put the amount then onto our bank statement. You see the amount is on the bank statement. It is not in our records as yet, and that is why you will record this now in the cash receipts journal. So now we move on to step number 4. In step number 4, now you take a look at items that appear on the debit side of the bank statement, because you are now going to compare the debit side of the bank, the debit side of the bank statement, compare that now with our cash payments journal. If you come across any entries that is in the cash payments journal that is not yet on the bank statement, you record this now in your bank reconciliation statement. And you will call this now, the line item for this is called, you will write there, debit outstanding checks. Because these are checks that we have issued, payments which the business has made, but it is not yet reflected on the bank statement. The reason for that is a check is valid for 6 months, which means that a person can keep that check for a 6-month period before he deposits it. So the bank can only deduct that payment or show it on our bank statement once the person that we had given the check to has deposited that check. But while that person has not deposited the check as yet, the bank cannot deduct the amount from our bank statement. But we have issued the checks in the cash payments journal. It is in the cash payments journal, not on the bank statement. You record it now in your bank reconciliation statement, and you will write there, debit outstanding checks. Still busy with step number 4. If you now come across any amounts that is on the bank statement that is not yet in our cash payments journal. Oh, okay, that's the wrong slide, guys. If you come across any amounts on the bank statement that is not yet in your cash payments journal, you will now record that now into your cash payments journal. Examples can be the following: bank charges, because remember, bank charges will only appear on our bank statement. And once we receive our bank statement, we will update our bank statement now with those items. So bank charges will appear there. Interest on overdraft can be there. Debit orders. You guys are familiar with debit orders. Remember, a debit order is just an instruction by you where you have given the bank permission to pay your insurance or your loan or your car repayment. That's a debit order. So the payment will appear on the bank statement. It is not yet into our records. That is why once we get the bank statement, we will record it now in our cash payments journal. And then, of course, we can also have dishonored checks. Dishonored checks, we also call that RD checks, refer to draw checks. Those are the checks that is bounced. In common terms, we call it that the check is bounced. So let me just explain that to you. Remember, when a customer paid us, we received the money, the check we received in good faith, and we recorded that now in the cash receipts journal. If the bank now, however, informs us that that check bounced, the customer paid us with an invalid check, we must cancel the receipt now with an entry in our cash payments journal. And that is why dishonored checks will appear now in our cash payments journal. So we need to update our cash payments journal, therefore. Right. The next thing that I need to discuss with you is the errors that you can get. Sometimes the bank will make an error, and sometimes we, the business, we may make an error with a recording that, with an amount that we record into our records. We first of all take a look at errors on the bank statement. Any errors on the bank statement, you rectify in your bank reconciliation statement. Sometimes you will get an incorrect deposit. Somebody else's deposit appears onto our bank statement. So what we do is, in your bank reconciliation statement, the entry is debit incorrect deposit. And you put the amount on the debit side of your reconciliation statement. If, however, somebody else's, another institution's check appear onto our bank statement, which means now that the bank has incorrectly decreased our balance. In your bank reconciliation statement, you will write there, credit incorrect check. So that is how we deal with errors on the bank statement. Either somebody else's deposit is there, which means that the bank incorrectly increased our balance, or somebody else's payment is there, which means that the bank has incorrectly decreased our balance. But we can also get errors in your journals. Perhaps just an amount is correctly or incorrectly recorded there. So we can have the following. It is possible that the amount that you have now recorded in the cash payments journal is too much. If I'm saying that the amount you have recorded is too much, perhaps the check is for 600 Rand, but you have recorded 900 Rand. So you recorded 300 Rand too much. In order to rectify that now, you will now have an entry for the difference. The difference is now, in my example, 300 Rand, and you will make a 300 Rand entry in your cash receipts journal. If the amount in the cash payments journal, however, is too much, too little, you have recorded too little, Say the check is for 450 Rand, but you only recorded 400 Rand. Then you must make another entry, an additional entry for 50 Rand in your cash payments journal. So if the amount is too much, record it in the cash receipts journal. And if the amount is too little, then you record it. You make another entry in your cash payments journal for the difference. The next thing that I discuss with you is the stale checks. If you have issued a stale check, the business has issued a stale check. Remember, a stale check is a check that is older than 6 months. We have issued the check. The person who received the check, he did not deposit the check. Remember, he's got 6 months chance to deposit it. He has kept the check and perhaps forgot to deposit that. That check has now become a stale check, an old check, and that check must be cancelled. We cancel that check now with an entry in the cash receipts journal. Remember the original check, the original payment was made in the cash payments journal. To cancel that now, we will have an entry now in your cash receipts journal. Right. After you have now updated your cash receipts journal and you updated your cash payments journal, you will now prepare a bank account in the ledger. You start with the opening balance. You take the amount of the cash receipts journal to the debit side of your bank account. That will be your total receipts. You take your total payments from your cash payments journal and record it now in the bank account in the ledger, and you balance the bank account now with the new totals now. This balance now in your bank account is called the bank balance according to the business's records. According to our ledger account, that is then the bank balance.
Beste dan klas. En ik zoek werk. En ik zoek werk.
Okay.
Maar al die werken.
Right, can we continue? We are busy with the last slide. So now in your last step now, you will now prepare or you transfer now the entry or the amount from the bank balance that you have now calculated. You transfer that now into the bank reconciliation statement. Your bank balance according to the business's record, the balance as per bank account, can now either be a debit balance or a credit balance. You take that now, you transfer the debit balance or the credit balance to your bank reconciliation statement. You add, and it is supposed to balance, but if it doesn't balance, you leave that and you move on to the next question. Don't get bogged down into getting your bank reconciliation statement to balance. You are not going to get any additional marks if your bank statement balance or if it does not balance. So you just leave it like that. Right. Students, that is the presentation then on your bank reconciliation statement. Any questions that you've got at this stage? Okay, we continue now and we move on to our notes now, where we are going to do a question. Right, guys, I think we are back onto our same story again.
Wilfred, are you having trouble sharing?
Yes, I can't share.
Can you share the desktop?
Can you see anything?
Okay, we can see the desktop. So now I just open the Word document or the notes that you want to open.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the notes now.
Yes. Okay, you can see that.
Okay. Can you guys see?
Yes.
Okay. Right, so I'm not going to try to unshare and share anymore, Richard. I'm just going to continue.
Yes, no, that's fine.
Okay. Right, students, we are going on to the notes now. And the first question that we're going to deal with here is a question 3. And we take a look at the following information that was taken from the accounting records of a business called LR Stores. We have got a bank statement for the month. Note that the bank statement has got a debit side, a credit side, and then the balance. The debit side is for all our checks, all our payments will appear on the debit side, and the credit side is for all our deposits. Then we have got a cash receipts journal. That is the cash receipts journal of LR Stores. On the next page is our cash payments journal. And we will have additional information there. Right. Go to your required, and your required indicates now that you must now prepare a cash receipts journal, a cash payments journal, a bank account in the ledger, and you must prepare a bank reconciliation statement. So if we go down to your workings, I hope you can see that. The approach to your question, I state here that you must go to your required at the end of the question. The question wants you to do the journals, and you prepare these things now in your answer books, and then you follow the steps with your bank reconciliation. Right, so you must do a cash receipts journal, and your cash receipts journal will start with a provisional total of 174,000 Rand, which you will get now as your total receipts now in your cash receipts journal. The cash payments journal starts with an opening total of 112,000 Rand. Your bank account has got an opening balance, and the opening balance for your bank account you will get now under your additional information under number 1. Go to additional information number 1. On the 31st of March, the bank account in the ledger had a debit balance there of 45,150. Your bank reconciliation statement. Go to your bank reconciliation statement. And remember now, in step number 2, we said that you take the balance in your bank on your bank statement. Take the balance on your bank statement on the last day of the month, and you record that now into your bank reconciliation statement. And we had a credit balance as per bank statement, and the amount is 181,665 Rand. 181,665. Okay. back to our question now that we are doing. And we are now going to compare. Follow the steps now with the bank reconciliation statement. We are comparing our cash receipts journal with the bank statement. Compare the cash receipts journal with the credit side of your bank statement. So you are ticking now in your cash receipts journal. The first amount of 21,000 Rand is there. And the next amount of 21,000 is on your bank statement. The 15,500 is on your bank statement. The 30,000 is on your bank statement. The 15,000 Rand on the 16th, that is on your bank statement. The 40,000 is on your bank statement. The 26,500 is on your bank statement. The 5,000 Rand is not on your bank statement. Please note now that this was a deposit that was made on the 31st of March. The 5,000 that you see on your bank statement was a deposit that was made there on the 28th of March. So it is not the same 5,000 that we are talking about here. So I have now compared my cash receipts journal with my bank statement. The 5,000 Rand that was deposited on the 31st is not on my bank statement. Therefore, I will now make an entry now in my bank reconciliation statement. And in your bank reconciliation statement, you are now going to write credit the outstanding deposit, and the outstanding deposit that has been reflected now, or that is in our cash receipts journal, not yet on the bank statement, is an amount of 5,000 Rand. Okay. The first part of that step is now done. We are into our next comparison now. We compare now our bank statement now, the debits, the credit side of our bank statement. Compare the credit side of your bank statement now with your cash receipts journal. So if you compare that now with the cash receipts journal, the first amount of 21,000 Rand is there. The next amount of 21,000 Rand is also there. 15,500 is there, and 30,000, and the 15,000 is there. The 40,000 is there. The 5,000 Rand is not there. Now remember now, the 5,000 Rand, don't get confused. This is a deposit that was made on the 28th of March. That is not there. The 26,500 Rand is there. The 90,000 Rand is not there. And the 15,000 Rand is not there. So we have now identified 3 items that appeared on the bank statement that is not in the cash receipts journal. Okay, so let us take a look at these items now. First of all, the 5,000 Rand. Go to your additional information. Your additional information under number 2 states that the credit entry for 5,000 Rand on the 28th of March in the bank statement was a direct deposit made by a client, Mr. Rose. So we haven't got that information in our cash receipts journal. So you need to update your cash receipts journal now. Go to your cash receipts journal. And in your cash receipts journal, you will now have an entry to record the fact that we have received money from A Rose. It was a direct deposit. We don't need to indicate the amounts that I've got here in brackets. All that you must have there is A Rose, and the amount for A Rose was 5,000 Rand. Okay, we have updated the records now of the business, because the 5,000 rand was only deposited into the business's bank, into the bank account, the financial institution. We, the business, has not received that money, and that is why we are now updating our records. The next amount that we must account for is our amount of 90 rand, and that 90 rand is interest received on our banking account. So we can put in the interest on our current account, and the bank is paying us an amount of 90 rand. Make the entry then for 90 rand in your cash receipts journal. Remember, there were 3 amounts. The other amount is now 15,000. Now we don't see that 15,000 anywhere, so we go to our additional information to see if there is any information on that 15,000 rand. Okay. Now take a look at the information under number 4, under your additional information. The credit entry on the 31st of March in the bank statement was erroneously, incorrectly credited to LR Stores. It was a deposit which was made by RL Stores. So the bank has incorrectly recorded 15,000 rand on our bank statement. This is an error by the bank, and an error by the bank on our bank statement will be rectified in our bank reconciliation statement. So in your bank reconciliation statement, you will write there, debit the incorrect deposit, and the incorrect deposit is an amount of 15,000 rand. So students, at this stage, we have now identified all the areas in the cash receipts journal and the credit side of the bank statement, items that is in our records, not on the bank statement, and items that is on the bank statement that is not in our records. And we have updated our cash receipts journal, and we have also made some entries in the bank reconciliation statement regarding outstanding deposits and that incorrect entry. We are moving on to our next step now, where we are now going to compare the cash payments journal with the debit side of the bank statement. So we are taking a look now at our cash payments journal. And in our cash payments journal, the first check issued was check number 217 for 4,500 rand. The 4,500 rand is there, but check number 218 for the amount of 900 rand is not on our bank statement. Check number 219 for 500 rand is there. The check for 6,700, check number 220 is not on our bank statement. So we will note that check. The next check is an amount of 40,000 rand for check number 221. That check is there. The next check for 2,000 rand for check number 222. That is on our bank statement. And we have issued on the 23rd a check for 500 rand. That was check number 223. That check is not on our bank statement, 500 rand. The next check is a check for 1,900, check number 224. That check is there. But the last check number 225 for the amount of 55,000 rand is not on our bank statement. So we have now identified four outstanding checks. 4 checks that appears on our records that is not on the bank statement. So those items we are now going to record in our bank reconciliation statement. And we are going to write in our bank reconciliation statement, debit outstanding checks. But for your outstanding checks, you must indicate the check numbers, because it is possible that the same check number or the same amount, like we had seen now in this item, in this question, there was actually 2 checks for 500 Rand that was issued. It is check number 219 and check number 223, and both was for the amount of 500 Rand. So it is important that you do indicate the check number so that you know exactly which check number is outstanding. So the entry in the bank reconciliation statement would be debit your outstanding checks. We've got check number 218 outstanding to the amount of 900 Rand. Check number 220 for the amount of 6,700. Next check outstanding will be check number 223. The amount for check number 223 is 500 Rand. The next outstanding check there is check number 225. And that check will be for the amount of 55,000 Rand. Okay. So that will take care of our outstanding checks. That will take care of the items that appear in our cash payments journal that is not yet in our bank reconciliation statement. The last comparison that we will now do is where we are now going to take the debit side of our bank statement and compare that now with our cash payments journal. On your bank statement, the first amount of 4,500 is on your bank statement. The 25 Rand for service fees is not there, so you will mark that one. The 500 is there. The 40,000 Rand is there. The 2,000 Rand is there. The 1,900 is there. But the 1,500 Rand is not there, and that is a debit order. The next amount of 2,100 Rand is also not there. And then there is a 50 Rand for bank charges that is also not in our cash payments journal. So we will have to update our cash payments journal now with these items. So go to your cash payments journal. Your cash payments journal. We will indicate that we will now have, after we received the information from our bank statement, we will record now our bank charges. And the bank charges was 25 Rand for service fees and 50 Rand of bank charges. You add all that together, and your bank charges amount is 75,000 Rand. There was also a stop order for the amount of 1,500. And if you go to your additional information will tell you that the debit order for 1,500 on the 31st of March was in favor of MDL Insurance for the monthly insurance premium. So you are going to have insurance. And the insurance amount that you will reflect there is an amount of 1,500 Rand. There is still one amount that is unclear, and that was check number XX900. So let us go to additional information and try to resolve this matter as far as check number XX900 is concerned. The information under your additional information will tell you that check number XX900 originally received from Mrs. B. Smith was deposited into the previous month's bank It was deposited during the previous month into the bank account of LR Stores. This check is now dishonored by the bank because of insufficient funds. So Mrs. B. Smith paid us in the previous month. The bank has now informed us that Mrs. B. Smith never had money into her account to honor that check. So that becomes now a dishonored check. You record that now into your cash payments journal. You will now have Mrs. B. Smith, and the value of that check to be recorded in our cash payments journal is then the amount of 2,100 Rand. So students, I have now recorded all my entries, all the entries that I'm supposed to do after I have now compared my bank statement with my cash receipts journal and my cash payments journal. I have now seen exactly what is going on in terms of the missing information. Information in our records that is not on the bank statement, and information on the bank statement that is not in our records. Just to summarize this, if you come across items in the cash receipts journal and the cash payments journal that is not on the bank statement, you record that in the bank reconciliation statement. If you come across any transaction or any amount on the bank statement, not in the cash receipts journal and the cash payments journal, you must update the business's records by recording that now in the cash receipts journal and the cash payments journal. So we are now at a situation whereby we are now going to make the recordings, or we are now going to finish off now the entries in our journals, and we're going to complete the cash receipts journal and the cash payments journal and the bank recon. So back to your cash receipts journal now. In your cash receipts journal now, add up now the 174,000 plus the 5,000 plus the 90 Rand, and that will give you an updated amount now of 179,090, and that is our new cash receipts. You take a look at your cash payments now, also in your cash payments journal, add up, and the new amount is now 115,675, 115,675 Rand. You have now closed off your cash receipts journal and your cash payments journal. You take that information now and you post it to the bank account in the ledger. So in your bank account, you will now have an entry to transfer the amount in the cash receipts journal to your bank account, and that will be your total receipts. And your total receipts, the new total receipts is now 179,090, 179,090. The cash payments, you transfer your cash payments journal amount now to your bank account. And in your bank account, on the credit side, you are now going to write total payments, and your total payments, the updated amounts now. Let us just get back now. I got the message that you guys can't see it. I hope you guys can see it now. Your total payments is now. Yes.
Wilfred, it's still
Sorry, sir. We can't see you.
Okay,
it's fine. Okay, what do you say?
We can't see currently. We can't see currently the shared information.
Right. So how are we going to resolve this now? Because it is on my desktop. Open now. Okay. Can you see the? What I've got now is, can you see anything now, Richard?
No, nothing is shared with us. Do you have it open? Are you currently using Microsoft Teams, or are you using it through the browser? Oh, yes, stuff coming now.
Can
now we
see
can see
something? Okay, can you see now?
Yes,
I think I'm just going to continue like this.
Yes, yeah, I think that's best. Okay.
Right, students, sorry for that. Let me just repeat what we have done. We have taken the cash receipts journal. The new total in the cash receipts journal is now 179.90. We've transferred this now to the bank account in the ledger. And on the debit side, we will write there total receipts 179.090. The new amount now of our payments is now 115,675. That is the updated amount of the total payments now. We will balance our bank account now, calculate the difference between the two sides. And if you balance that bank account, you will now get a difference here of 108,565. Just add up there, you will get 224,240. And on the credit side, you will get that amount of 224,240. The bank account is balanced. The last step in your bank reconciliation process is where you take the balance now in your bank account and you transfer that now to your bank account, to your reconciliation statement. The debit balance as per bank account is now 108,565. That is the debit balance as per bank statement. You are now going to add up your debit side and to add up your credit side. If you add up your debit side, you will get an amount of 186,665. And if you add up your credit side, 186,665. And you will see that your bank reconciliation statement then there will balance. Any queries then on that particular question, guys? You can shoot with questions.
Hi, Mr. Lish. I just wanted to know the on point number 4 under the required.
Yeah.
If I had, because when I initially did the exercise, I put that under my cash receipts journal instead of putting it directly on the reconciliation.
Are we talking about? Is this number 4, Marilyn, or not? Which one is this now?
Number 4, sir. Number 4.
Okay, but it is in the cash receipts journal.
Wait, maybe I'm just confusing because I think I've got a total there. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Let me just double check again.
Okay. Can I speak in the meantime, Marilyn? In your cash receipts journal, you must have the following: a credit number 4. We talk about number 4, right? Number 4, a credit entry on the 31st of March in the bank statement was incorrectly put into the books of LR stores. Now we are LR stores. Happy? The bank has made an error. The bank recorded money which was supposed to be for RL stores. The bank recorded it in the books of LR stores. So the bank made an error and deposited money into our banking account. It's an error by the bank. An error by the bank, we rectify in the reconciliation statement. So in your reconciliation statement, you will have an entry there, debit incorrect deposit. Marilyn, will that?
I see. I see now. Yes, sir. So when they make an error like that, should you just post it on the opposite side or on the bank reconciliation?
That's correct. Just go back to the slides, the PowerPoint presentation that I've got. There I've got errors for you. If the bank has made an error, you rectify it in the reconciliation statement. The bank can make two kinds of errors. Either they have increased your balance incorrectly with somebody else's deposit, and then you will write debit incorrect deposit. Or sometimes the bank will put somebody else's check onto your account where they have decreased your balance. So to rectify that, you will write credit incorrect check. Just go back to the slides, then you will see it there.
Thank you so much.
Okay, all good? Right, if everybody's okay, we take a look at our next question.
Sorry, sir. Sorry,
Yes,
sir. We can't see anything.
Okay, no, okay, it's all clear. You are not supposed to, you're supposed to see me, but we've got some gremlins, so it is fine. I'll share now with you and then you will be able to see. All good? Okay, Krista? Right.
Thank you.
Okay. We are back into our notes now. And into your notes, we take a look at the October-November 2012 question paper. October-November 2012. It's a business called Gray Services. Okay, Gray Services. They supplied you with the bank reconciliation statement as at the 30th of June 2012. They gave you a cash receipts journal and they gave you a cash payments journal. And then they gave you a bank statement. Under your required, they want you to do a cash receipts journal and a cash payments journal. They want you to do a bank account in the ledger and prepare a bank reconciliation statement. So let us take a look at that questions quickly and the solution to that one. Right. So you open up your cash receipts journal and you open up a cash payments journal, you open up a bank account in the ledger, and you will open up your bank reconciliation statement. Your cash receipts journal will start off with an opening total of 6848. Go to the question. It is not added up. You must add it up there. It is the 982 plus the 2042 plus the 470 plus 2,202 Rand plus 1152, and that will give you an amount of 6848. Your cash payments journal start with an amount of 8893. Once again, you must add up the amounts in your cash payments journal. Your bank account for the month will start with an opening balance of 2,202 Rand. And please note the following. That balance of 2,202 Rand is coming from the bank reconciliation statement. Go to the bank reconciliation statement. That is the bank reconciliation statement, and it is dated the 30th of June. The last balance there, you will see the debit balance as per bank account of 2,202 Rand. That is the bank balance on the 30th of June which automatically will be your bank balance in your bank account on the 1st of July. So for the month of July, you are starting there with a bank balance of 2,202 Rand. Go to your bank reconciliation statement now. And in your bank reconciliation statement, you will have to record now the balance as per bank statement at the end of the month. So you will write there in your bank reconciliation statement, credit balance as per bank statement, and your credit balance as per bank statement is the amount of 906 Rand. That is the amount reflected then on your bank statement, the balance at the end of the month. Right, we continue. And now we are going to compare. So we have now opened our cash receipts journal and our cash payments journal and the bank account in the ledger and our bank reconciliation statement. Okay, right, let us just take a look at this now again.
Wilfred, will you just share your screen?
Okay. Tell me, can you see something now?
No, not currently.
Right, so I am sharing.
Perhaps just unshare and share again.
Okay, I'm doing that now. Can you see something?
I'll just quickly see if something's coming through. No, we still can't see any.
Okay, right. I am going to go back to.
Oh, there it comes now. Yeah, there we go. Screen one. Now we can see.
Okay, you've got screen one?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, it disappeared now again.
Yeah, okay, so, and now? Can you see something now, Richard?
No, not currently.
Can you see something now?
No, not yet.
Yeah, I can see, because you see what happens on my side. If I share my screen, then it will my screen will blink then I know that you guys on the other side can also see it.
Oh yeah, usually it makes like a red line around the screen to show when it's shared. So are you selecting that screen one, the desktop screen?
Yes, I am doing that now.
Okay, there it's coming now.
So what do you see now?
So now I can see the desktop. But we can see the cash receipt journal and Gray Services.
Okay, right. Let me continue, please. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Sorry, man, for all of this pain. Okay, right. Students, please just bear with us. I'm sure we'll be able to sort this out during the course of the week so that your other classes will run smoothly. Right, so I am now going to compare my cash receipts journal now with my bank statement. And if I now compare my cash receipts journal, the first amount there of 982, it is there. The amount of 2,042 is there. The amount of 470 is on my bank statement, and the 2,202 Rand is on the bank statement. But there's one amount of 1152 that is not on the bank statement. So that amount appears in my cash receipts journal. It's not on the bank statement. I go to my bank statement and I will write there, credit outstanding deposit. And that outstanding deposit will be the amount of 1,152 Rand. My outstanding deposit, 1,152. I am now comparing the credit side of the bank statement with my bank reconciliation, with my cash receipts journal now. Right. So the first amount that you see there on your bank statement is 254 Rand. But that 254 Rand is from the previous month. If you go back to your previous month's reconciliation statement on page 3, you will see there, it states there, credit incorrect entry on the bank statement 254. So last month in our records, the business has informed the bank that there was an error, and the bank has now rectified that error. And that is why they have put it now on the credit side, the amount of 254 Rand. The next amount of 1,010 Rand, 1,010 Rand, that was an outstanding deposit of last month. We go back to the reconciliation statement again. Last month, check number, or there was a outstanding deposit of 1,010. It appears now on the bank statement, so you ignore that completely. No entry is necessary. All that is happening now is that it was in our records last month, not on the bank's records. It appears now in the bank's records, so it is in our records as well as the bank's records. No entry is necessary. On your bank statement, the 982 is there. The next amount of 290 Rand is not there, so you will mark the 290. We must work with that. The 2024 and 2042 is there. The 470 Rand is there. And the 2,202 Rand is all. So there is only an amount of 290 Rand on the bank statement, not in our records. We will record that now in our cash receipts journal. In our cash receipts journal, we will record that now. And you will see that that is then for rent income. So you will record that as rent income, and the amount of the rent income is an amount then of 290 Rand. 290 Rand as your rental income. So we have now accounted for all the items that appeared on our bank statement, and we compared that now with our cash receipts journal. Our next step now is to take a look at our cash payments journal and compare our cash payments journal now with the debit side of your bank statement. So in our cash payments journal now, the first check of 410 Rand is there. The next check amount of 4,600, it is not there. But please take note that this is for check number 824. So in our cash payments journal, check number 824 is for 4,600 Rand. However, on the bank statement, that check is for 4,400 Rand. So there is an error. Just park that one. I'm going to come back to that one. Okay. Check number 825 for 294 is there. Check number 826 for 302 Rand is there. But check number 827 for 376 Rand is not there. The 2,000 Rand stop order is there. Check number 828 is also not there. That is a check for 84 Rand. The amount for 142, the unpaid check is on our bank statement, but check number 829 is also not there. So in the cash payments journal, we have now identified that check number 827 and check number 829 is not there, and that we have actually encountered an error. But let us first of all speak about our outstanding checks now. So we have now identified the outstanding checks for the current month. But there may be outstanding checks from the previous month. So what you do is you go to your bank reconciliation statement of June, the previous month's bank reconciliation statement, and you will see that there were three outstanding checks. Check number 558 was outstanding, check number 813 was outstanding, and check number 821 was outstanding. Now, check number 821 for 249 Rand came through the bank now. So if a check is outstanding last month and it does not appear on the bank statement for this month, that check will be outstanding for another month. So that check is still outstanding. So from last month, check number 558 and check number 821 will be outstanding. Now let us deal with that quickly. Check number 558, go to your additional information. Your additional information number 2 tells you that check number 558 was drawn on the 25th of November 2011 to Kara for repairs to the building. This check is stale and must now be cancelled. So we cancel a check now with an entry in your cash receipts journal. So go to your cash receipts journal now. And in your cash receipts journal, you are now going to cancel the amount and cancel the check. And that is the check for repairs. In brackets, you will indicate there that that was a stale check. And the stale check is an amount of 410 Rand. Right. Just continue there with your additional information. Take a look at number 4. Or let us do number 3 first. I spoke about this one already. The correct amount of check number 824 is 4,400. So 4,400 is correct, and 4,400 appears on your bank statement. However, in our cash payments journal, we recorded 4,600. So we recorded 200 Rand too much in our cash payments journal. We will rectify that now with an entry in our cash receipts journal. So in your cash receipts journal, you will write there correction of the error. And the error will be corrected. Entry for 200 Rand in your cash receipts journal. We're back onto additional information. Number 4. Check number 828 was mislaid by the municipality and the bank was notified to stop the payment. No entries was made to record this now. So if the check must be cancelled, we stop the payment of the check, which means that whoever picks up that check can't do anything with that check. The payment has been stopped, the check must be cancelled. So you will write an entry now in your cash receipts journal now. Water and electricity in brackets, that is your check that is now cancelled, and the value of that check is the amount of 84 Rand. Right, into your bank reconciliation statement now. We are now going to record the items that appears in our records that is not on the bank statement. This will now be called our outstanding checks, and our outstanding checks will be the following. Number 813 from last month, it was outstanding last month, to the amount of 152 Rand. And then outstanding checks for the current month will be the following. Check number 827, the amount of 670, for the amount of 376, and also check number 829 will be outstanding for the current month, and that will be for the amount of 685 Rand. So let me just summarize this now. As far as our outstanding checks is concerned, we had 2 outstanding checks from the previous month. One was a stale check, so we cancelled that with an entry in the cash receipts journal. The other check, check number 813, is still outstanding, so you will include that now in your bank reconciliation statement, outstanding checks from last month, because remember, a check is valid for 6 months. It can be outstanding for 5 months, so you will have there an outstanding check, check number 813 from last month. For the current month, 827, 829, as well as check number 828 was outstanding. Check number 828 was mislaid, must be cancelled. That we did with an entry in the cash receipts journal. The other 2 checks, 827 and 829, is outstanding for the current month. We have recorded that now in our reconciliation statement as outstanding checks. Right. I have now recorded all my items, all my entries. I have updated all the records now, the cash receipts journal and the cash payments journal. There's only one more thing that I must do, and I must now compare the debit side of the cash payments journal, or the debit side of the bank statement, with my cash payments journal. Right. The debit side of the bank statement. First amount of 21 Rand is not there, but we can identify that 21 Rand as a cash deposit fee, which is part of our bank charges. The 249, we accounted for that already. Remember, that was the outstanding check from last month. Then there's another cash deposit fee of 21 Rand. On the 12th, there's another cash deposit fee of 6 Rand. The 410 and the 4,400 Rand appears there. Then there's a 40 Rand cash deposit fee. Then there's a 6 Rand cash deposit fee. 90 Rand now, that is not on our bank statement. That is called management fee, which is also part of bank charges. The checks for 294 and for 302 Rand is there. The stop order is there. But there's another cash deposit fee of 75 Rand that is not there. The unpaid check of 142 Rand appears there. There's check fees of 25 Rand. And then there's interest of 12 Rand. So I've got 21 Rand, another 21 Rand, a 6 Rand, a 40 Rand, a 6 Rand, a 9 Rand, a 75 rand, a 25 rand, and a 12 rand that is not in my cash payments journal. So I will now record this now in my cash payments journal. And in my cash payments journal, I will now have the following. I will record the fact that I have got bank charges. And for the bank charges, you will add up the bank charges. You will indicate it is 21 rand plus another 21 rand plus a 6 rand plus a 40 rand plus a further 6 rand again plus another 90 rand plus another 75 rand plus another 12 rand. That is all my bank charges. And if you add your bank charges together, it will come out to the amount of 284 rand. You've got further charges, and that is the charge for interest. The interest on the current account, or interest on our, interest on our overdraft, we will record as a separate entry, and that is 12 rand. So just to summarize this, the charges here, interest on overdraft is a separate account. Like you would have seen also when we've done our financial statements, that interest on overdraft will result under finance cost. Everything else, whether it's a service fee or a management fee or a cash deposit fee or whatever, all of that will result under bank charges. Right, students, I have now updated all my records here. My cash receipts journal has now been updated. The new total now in my cash payments journal will be 7,832 rand. The new total now in my cash payments journal, I have updated now my cash payments journal. There was an opening balance of 8893 plus the 284 rand bank charges and the 12 rand interest on overdraft will give you now a total of 9,189. And if I now take that information to my bank account in the ledger, I will debit my bank account now with my total receipts of 7,832. My bank account, I credit my bank account with my total payments. The total payments is an amount of 9,189. That is now my total payments for the month, the updated total payments. I balance my bank account now. You add up now your bank account. You will have an amount of 10,034. On the credit side, you will put now 10,034, resulting in a balance carry down. Your new balance carry down. And your balance carry down is the amount now of 845 rand, the difference between the two sides. You transfer that to your reconciliation statement. In your bank reconciliation statement, you will indicate now debit balance as per bank account. And the debit balance as per bank account is 845 rand. You close off this now by adding up the debit side. The debit side will then be 2,058 rand. And you add up your credit side and you will also get 2,058 rand. And that then is the solution then of that question. Right, students, that will take care of that question. The second question, which was the October-November 2012 paper. Any questions on that one? Right, if there's no questions on that one then, students, what we will do then is then just a reminder once again that you must just please complete the feedback session. And thank you for just staying with us during this session. It was quite a trying one. We had quite a lot of problems. But I'm sure next time around we'll be able to sort out all these problems that we do have. We once again apologize for all the inconvenience. I will upload the solution to today's work. Then also later this afternoon, you'll be able to access the solutions. Remember, we have done 2 questions now in class, but there is a further question, which is the October-November 2015 paper. That one is also there. There's nothing else, guys. I'm going to end the session then now. Any last questions?